Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your weekly reading for October 12th through 18th. We're going to open up the energy of the reading today with the flamingo spirit. Look at that. It says, embrace the in-between. Okay, I like that. I wonder if that is kind of, indicating that there's a little bit of a pause coming, okay? Or if there are moments in between that we need to embrace. Yeah, let's find out. We're going to use the Dove and Serpent spread. We're going to continue using Rider-Waite. And don't worry, we will switch back to the Thoth deck at some point. We're just trying to sort of change it up a little bit. Here we have an 8 of Wands. Yeah, we've been getting the 8 of Wands a lot because I feel like it's really a busy time for a lot of people. And I think this in-between flamingo spirit is, and let's look at this thing. That in-between sort of energy, I think, is going to be very important. So as busy as life gets, let's make sure that we pause. Let's make sure that we appreciate the sort of transitions, that we allow ourselves time to transition between one thing and then the next thing, right? Because sometimes we get moving so fast that, the thing we're doing now and the next thing, like, they tend to overlap. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going with our cards. We have a Queen of Cups, yes. 10 of Cups, oh yes. An Ace of Swords, okay. 3 of Wands, yeah. I feel like something really big is going on here with you. I think a lot of you are pursuing probably one of the biggest goals that you've ever had in life. And I feel like an Ace and an Ace, look at that. Your heart and your mind are very, very happy with this energy, okay? I think that you are maybe reaching a point where, you can pause and embrace the accomplishment of one task and, sort of temporarily, just for a moment, delay the beginning of the next, goal or task or path, yeah? I like this energy. The 10 of Cups, too, being just extraordinary here. We have the Sun, of course, Page of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Swords. This is in the position of what we don't want. Okay, so that's the perfect position for that. And we have Strength going forward, too. So maybe Strength is kind of this way of kind of holding ourselves back from rushing too quickly forward when we really want to stop and smell the roses and stop and sort of celebrate the win, enjoy this this Ace of Cups, this 10 of Cups energy, enjoy the sunshine a little bit as well, yeah. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down beneath the video, all right? Now, as we look around the room, we see a couple of majors, don't we? We see the Sun and we see Strength. We see that fortitude, that passion, but also discipline, okay? And we see success, we see wealth and health, we see joy and happiness, we see all that good stuff here, We've got fire and fire, we've got water and water and water, a little bit of air, right? Trying to stay on track, try not to let any of the doubts or any of the, any of the worries kind of get to us. Yeah, try not to succumb to the anxiety of all of this rushing fire energy. And then, of course, we have our earth over here, the Page of Pentacles. I feel like a lot of you are going to be exploring new things. So I feel like there really is this kind of transition almost from one really big accomplishment to kind of what do I want to do next, Anyway, we start with the 8 of Wands, though. This is a very fast-moving energy, and this is speeding up. This is life getting faster, moving faster. There's more momentum. There's more movement. It could be a lot of messages coming in, a lot of errands to run, a lot of tasks, a lot of things to accomplish. Feels as if your email box is filling up. Your to-do list is getting quite long here with this one, right? Because you've been saying yes to a lot of things. And I think that it's showing a lot of busyness, but also a lot of progress. I think that, you're kind of in that excited energy where the more you do, the more results you see. And so you want to work harder, you want to work faster, you want to do more because you like seeing the response of the universe, And so it makes sense that you might be feeling as if you want to keep moving faster and faster and faster. Okay? I think you're saying yes to a lot of things, and I think that you're wise to let your excitement or your instinct sort of guide you with the different things that you're going to be getting involved with this week. I feel like this week, though, is, in some ways, it's a week of a lot of activity and a lot of busyness, but it's also a week to sort of slow down and check in with yourself and make sure you're embracing that in between, right? Be the flamingo a little bit. And, remember to pause in between your tasks, to just kind of look around and admire what you're creating and allow yourself to feel good, okay? Maybe even allow yourself some time to focus on other things other than the productive, progress, the work, the accomplishment, the goals, But I feel like right now everything that you say yes to is going to have a very high likelihood of working out in your favor, okay? It's a good time for trying new things and getting involved in new activities, but also, in the particular path that you're on, to continue to do more and experiment and try to expand. Sometimes the Eight of Wands to me feels like an internal pressure that's trying to expand us in every direction. So allow yourself that creative thinking. Give yourself kind of a wide radius of ideas that you can pursue in your life right now. Because like I said, everything that you attempt, every kind of exciting thing that you're going to try to implement, or I feel like it's going to have a high likelihood of working for you. Okay, you've got to stay open and adaptable, and I think this energy is going to flow. But again, it implies that we don't want to rush too fast. We have to embrace the in-between, and so I think that's also suggesting that when we do take on a lot of things to do, a lot of tasks or errands or obligations or responsibilities or commitments, that we remember to finish the things we start before really moving on to the next one. You might be multitasking. That's fine. Know your limits. Know how much you can carry on one plate. And remember that multitasking isn't a good idea if the quality diminishes or if we never actually finish any of those things that we're doing at the same time, okay? So kind of follow through is also a very important thing with this card, yeah? We have a Queen of Cups as well for you this week. Compassion, Sagittarius. Intuition, Sagittarius. Emotional wisdom. The Queen of Cups is emotional intelligence. It's a depth of your feelings and intuition, okay? It's being emotionally transparent. It is a week for divine, radical self-love, right, and self-compassion and empathy for yourself. You are deeply connected to other people. I think you are, probably most of you are very empathic. Make sure that you aim this gift at yourself, though, too. You got to nurture yourself, yeah, as much as you might be nurturing other people in your life right now. Okay, you need emotional support just as you are the emotional support for other people, especially when life is getting quite busy. I think it's important that we know that we can rely on ourselves and that we can treat ourselves kindly. Okay, and it doesn't mean that you need other people. It doesn't mean that you're only emotionally healthy if other people are there to support you. No, I feel like you got to be that support for yourself. Okay, whether you have a support system, whether you have people around you or not, you've got to be this for yourself, okay? I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to be a week of very heightened intuition. I think your insights are going to be very strong. Trust those instincts and that intuition to guide some of that Eight of Wands, to guide those things in the right direction. And I think you're going to have a very productive and very successful week. This is about emotional care and kindness in order to sort of maintain the harmony within you, okay? And I think the Queen here is also sort of, as the Queens do, they look at the past a lot, right? The Queens are very often processing the ending of something. So I think this card's implying that in all of your busyness this week, take some time to reflect upon what you just did. Whether it's just the little chores around the house, just stop and look at the kitchen and think, I like that. I cleaned it up real nice. I did those dishes and I enjoy that feeling, Give yourself time to process the ending of each task you do on a daily, a weekly, a yearly basis. Be able to look back and feel that feeling. Otherwise, the Queen, let's say the Queen of Wands, right, is rushing so forward, so fast to the next task that they never really process the ending of the last task. So you're getting a lot of stuff done. Make sure that you sort of acknowledge it in your heart, just for a moment, before moving on. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling anyway with this card. But we also have a Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups is even more of this really wonderful love and emotional sort of energy. It's emotional fulfillment. The Ten of Cups is the happily ever after. Relationships here are going to be very harmonious for you. I think that this is you having a harmonious relationship with yourself, with the land around you, with your environment, and with people, pets, plants, people. Maybe you don't have a lot of people. That's okay. You have pets, you have plants, you have yourself, you have your home environment. You have the natural world outside. You have other human beings are around there somewhere, okay? So it's a good time to sort of, focus on those types of relationships. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean like you got your spouse or you have your best friend or something. I just mean your relationship with everything. Everything is a relationship, right? We're a relationship with ourselves, and we're a relationship with the larger world. It's a relationship between self and not self. I and the universe out there. Knowing that we're all one unity, of course, but the way we experience it is I'm in here, wherever I am, it's usually my tummy, and everything else is out there. Okay, so we're focusing kind of on that unity this week as well, right? I think blessings are really going to overflow, okay, as you sort of focus on them and you show your gratitude and you acknowledge the unity. This is a good time for home and community activities. Maybe some of that Eight of Wands is you getting a lot of stuff done in your personal life. A lot of things done around the house or for you personally, maybe financial things, maybe you have a big to-do list of things that you want to sort of accomplish this week. It's a good time to do that and to recognize the significance and the importance and the value. We're not just being busy to be busy, are we? No, there's meaning behind all that activity. This is a good week to celebrate love. To celebrate the love that surrounds you, because that's the real value, whether it's pets, plants, people, whatever it is, So I like that. I think it's a very good week. I think that we don't see really a lot of problems at all this week. I think, in fact, it's going to be a week of clarity. I think a lot of you have been looking for an answer to a question or some sort of clarity on an issue. I feel like that might be very possible this week. This is a truth. This is a clarity. This is the divine revelation. It's kind of like we've got that antenna on the top of our head, and we're getting that wisdom or that knowledge that we've been looking for. For a lot of you, this is going to be a week of a lot of good ideas coming in. It's important that you write those down, you keep track of them. It doesn't mean you have to do every single one of them, although we can't deny the horizontal path here. Getting a lot of good ideas, working your butt off to make some progress with those ideas, to implement some of them, or to get them off the ground, to get these ideas moving, and being very, very satisfied with the results. I mean, this is beautiful. I think this is a big week for you. I think maybe there is a major shift coming for a lot of you, okay? Because this is inspiration, this is activity, this is satisfaction. Cannot deny it, and cannot deny that, okay? So yeah, the Ace of Swords, I think for a lot of you, this is going to be that rush of ideas, those really good, we think of an idea, oh yeah. We need that Eight of Wands because that's us moving around, implementing it. Like you say, I had this good idea of how I might be able to streamline some of my video production. So what do? Well, you get up and you grab the wires. I went down into our basement and I found my box of all these HDMI cables and USB cables, and I grabbed them. I went into the studio last night and I was plugging stuff in and I was trying to get it to work, and it's sort of working. But we get busy with it, right? And this, I think, is that clarity, that aha kind of light bulb moment for a lot of you, okay? It's a very good week also for speaking your truth, for being very honest and very clear. This may also be a week of a very important decision that you've been looking for clarity about, that you've been trying to come to a conclusion or a decision about something. Honesty is really going to be a big part of that, okay? Clarity is a gift right now, so we're going to use this clarity to cut through distractions, move forward with purpose, and to really also, at the same time, have it's very cool that we have fire, fire, air, and then we've got water, water, water. So the air and the fire are very active elements. And of course, they're balanced perfectly by these three passive elements, right? The water. So in terms of the elements, it's very balanced between all of this very hectic, rushing activity. I got a good idea. I need to go down to the basement, grab the wires, go to the studio and plug everything in. It's going to work. And then also the calm reflection and say, that was a good idea. And maybe it's not quite perfect yet, but we appreciate the value of that because it's adding. Is what you're doing now? That's a good question for you with these two cards. And tell me in the comments your answer. Is all the busyness that you're up to this week, is it adding value to your life? Like me, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna run around, I'm gonna spend a bunch of energy, burn some calories going up and down the stairs, might have to buy a couple of wires. All of that expenditure, would it add value to my life? Yes, because I'm trying to streamline my production process. So if I can find a way to not have to unplug the hard drive and walk it over to the other room and transfer files, and if I can just somehow automate that or make it more streamlined, it would add value to my life because it would save me maybe a half an hour a day. Not very much. 30 minutes, that's it. Half an hour. 1/48th of an entire day it would save me. Well, for me, that's pretty good. That's valuable, right? And that's kind of the idea with the water energy here. We have to make sure that what we're doing with all of this very active Eight of Wands is adding value to our lives. Yeah. All right, so we also have that Three of Wands, and I think the Three of Wands is part of that. Part of kind of looking out at the horizon and thinking, is this worth everything that I'm going to have to spend? Because I'm going to have to buy some wires. I'm going to have to run up and down the stairs. I'm going to have to spend time. I spend about maybe an hour total, not much, but about an hour. And for me, that's a long time, working on it. And so with the Three of Wands, we sort of have to ask, is it worth it? I feel like this is the card that's saying all of your efforts are going to show results. And those results, as we reflect on them, are going to let us know whether our activities are worthwhile. Is what I did bringing value to my life? Well, last night, it cost me more than it earned me. Okay, because I spent about an hour, and I didn't get any of that time back yet. But I feel that over time, if I can get it working just right, that it will save me about a half an hour a day. And then within the first few days, it'll make up for the expenditure, right? So I feel like this is that card, that we're sort of assessing that, okay? I feel for a lot of you, this is expansion and growth that are on the horizon. I feel like your progress is steady, it's visible. And those types of moments, this kind of looks like someone who's reflecting on what they've done. Like someone that's standing on the cliff above and looking at their world and thinking, okay, this was time well spent. This was money well spent. Okay. Especially with that Eight of Wands, because it feels like it's a lot of energy going out. See, that's these wands, these javelins are all going away from you. That's energy and time. It's time, effort, energy, money, and space that you're not getting back. So knowing, acknowledging, and looking at it and consciously being aware that, yeah, this is adding value to my life. It is adding value as we speak, and as we continue to do it, it's going to continue to add value until it basically pays for itself. You know what I mean? So this is that expansion. This is that progress that's now visible to you. This is a card, too, that's saying we stay patient and we keep moving. I think a lot of you are closer to your goal than you think, a lot closer to that moment. It's like you have your business, right? They say a business in the first year is going to lose money. So to me, this card is like, we're just about to turn a profit. Any day now, all the expenditures are going to be less than what I'm getting in return. You know, so it's kind of like eventually all my work hooking up these wires, you should see the wires I got in this place. One day I'll have to do it behind the scenes, but I got to clean the place up first because there's just, the wires are all over the place. You know, we put in all of that effort, but we know that at some point it's going to pay for itself. You know, it's like when you buy your own printer or something for your home office and you're thinking, well, I can just, you know, what if I just went to one of those, you know, printing stores or whatever to print stuff out? And you think, well, it's going to save me, you know, within a year, it'll pay, that printer will pay for itself, you know, in the savings that it would bring you. And so this card kind of is suggesting that that moment is very close for us, where we're no longer spending more than we're receiving in some aspect. Okay, maybe it's your business, maybe it feels like as you know, your time, you've been putting a lot of time into something and now it's really going to start paying you back, and it's going to make all of that time that you spent well worth it. It's going to, this is money well spent for you, or time or effort or energy or space or whatever, right? So the goal are closer than you think to that moment where things flip. And I feel like this, for some of you, this is anticipation, that what you've set in motion is now coming back to you. It's that moment where your business starts turning the profit, okay? And so this, to me, is one of the best cards. This is confidence in your vision. It's allowing you also to sort of receive greater opportunities. This is you really keeping your eyes open and you're scanning the horizon as well, right? And you're having more of these ideas and you're seeing more places where you can put in a little more effort and then get even more out of it, right? So I think there are a lot of good ideas that you're going to try implementing this week, and some of those are going to bear fruit right away. Some of them are going to pay for themselves next week or the week after, you know what I mean? But they're still good ideas. The Ace of Cups is maybe an emotional beginning. This is a moment of you receiving love or joy or healing. So for some of you, this is all part of the same sort of momentum of energy, the good ideas, the working hard, and the knowing that we're going to have to put in time, effort, energy, money, and space first. And then, of course, the Ace of Cups is you getting the satisfaction, the love, the happiness back. Like, this is the feeling when your business starts turning a profit. This is the moment where things flip, okay? So for some of you, this is going to be like a healing energy. This is going to be love. This is going to be joy. This is our heart really opening up and ready to receive. And I think you're receiving a lot of abundance, a lot of happiness, a lot of abundance, a lot of joy and love. You are very receptive to blessings. And whether that's in your relationship or your creativity, your spiritual work, your business, your finances, I think that you're letting your emotions guide you. You're not holding your emotions back. This is a card of gratitude and kindness and openness that's drawing in more and more of the good stuff, more and more love. Okay? It really feels like a very happy flow, a very harmonious week between effort and reward. Yeah, the effort and the reward really coming in. Don't forget to hit that like button and help to push this video out to everybody that needs to see it. All right. Before we move on, I want to do a manifestation card. Blessed growth. Yes, that's nice. Stay firmly rooted in your intentions and reach for the sky. A little mantra here says, I reach for my dreams. I nurture my dreams. Look at that. That's a beautiful card. Very nice. Blessed growth. I think that's what we're experiencing this week. It's because of your effort and the results of your effort. It feels good, right? To know that you put in all of this effort and it made a difference. Like it actually is starting to work, or it's fully worked, or it's starting to pay for itself, or it's just like that feeling when you finally hook your printer up and it works, and you're like, I did it, it works, I've hooked up a lot of stuff. I'm kind of a techie type of person. I've hooked up a lot of stuff. It doesn't always work right the first time, Sometimes we have so many wires and stuff that we just, they just kind of get tangled up and mixed up and whatever the case is. But anyway, you've got the Sun card. Joy and vitality and clarity, like we said. It's going to be a very bright and happy week. This is a card of success. And it's saying success is very much within reach for you. Celebrate your progress. Celebrate your wins. The confidence in you is growing. And that's part of our Three of Wands too, being able to look at your work and say, what I'm doing is actually making a difference. It's actually working. And now I'm feeling more confident to go and do more stuff. Eight of Wands, right? Happiness is also contagious. Have a sense of humor. Play. I feel like there's almost a giddiness happening this week, And it's really, really nice. I think that this is you also sharing in those wins and sharing your happiness with those around you. You're stepping into the light. I think that some of you are really being kind of recognized. Some of you are really putting yourself out there, stepping into the spotlight a little bit. Okay. This is optimistic. Yeah. And it is a time of clarity. I think for a lot of you, there is this dawning, enlightening kind of energy. Okay. So I think something that maybe was confusing or mysterious or wasn't clear to you is becoming clear. This is a card that's saying there are no shadows. Nothing is hidden from us this week. That we're aware, we see what's going on here. Yeah. And I think this is good. I think for a lot of you, it's kind of like, when you're trying to hook up the printer and for a week, you're just like tearing your hair out. You're like, I don't know why it's not working. It's Clark W. Griswold trying to hook up the Christmas lights in Christmas Vacation, racking his brain trying to get the lights to work. And well, his wife knew, just a little switch in the garage or wherever it was. Was it the basement or the garage? I can't remember. I've seen that movie so many times that I don't know if my memory is accurate anymore. But, that to me feels like we're solving the problem that's been plaguing us for a while. And it may even be that there is an unexpected solution that comes in, that somebody else may help us to discover that answer. It's a time of warmth. It's a time of life. It's a time for joy. It's a time for that clarity. Okay. To me, the Sun card is pure gold. I think this is going to be a very golden week. And I think that it is also, for a lot of you, it is the moment where things flip. That big shift now from just it being an energy expenditure to now it is a success. Okay? And that Three of Wands is saying that for a lot of you, you're very, very close to that realization that now suddenly your business is not in the red anymore. Now it's in the black, as they say. Now, this is the moment where maybe some of you are like getting out of debt, or like that car is finally paid off, or the house is paid off, or this is the moment where you realize that what you've been doing is starting to earn enough to pay you back for all the time you spent. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the shift that I'm feeling. And I think that's really big. And I think it's coming. I think this week, for a lot of you, this is going to be the week. Now, Page of Pentacles is also a curiosity. It's us thinking of new work to do, new ways to make money, a new path or opportunity for that kind of thing. It's kind of like we're walking around the house with this confidence, thinking, well, what else can I do today then? What else can I do this week, since everything I do is working and I hook the printer up and the lights work and everything? Now what else should I do, So I feel like we're kind of looking around, trying to find other things to fix, other things to put our effort into and make them shine a little bit more than they were last week, okay? And I think this is very practical too. I think you're finding things, it's almost when you fix the, you fix the water heater or something at home, and you're on a roll. So you're going to go around the house and say, what else can I fix? Can I fix the sprinkler? Can I fix the toilet? Like, what about that leaky faucet? Like, what else can I do? Come on, give me some chores here. And that's what this card's sort of about. For some of you, this could be, a confidence that is motivating you to investigate other money-making opportunities, investigate other investments, okay? Doesn't mean that you have to fully engage any of those things, but we're just kind of getting a feel for some new stuff, okay? I think that you have an eagerness. That's what it is. There's an eagerness now to continue, okay? And I think that there is, as you get the rewards, or I don't even know if I like calling them rewards, because the reward kind of feels that it's just like, it's almost an appeasement. It's almost like, it's almost patronizing to call it a reward. I apologize. I feel like it's something earned. I feel like you're getting your just compensation for something. And it's like you put in all that effort, and now it's given you back in proportion to what you put in, and then even more, there's profit to it, right? And so now there's this eagerness with that Page of Pentacles to find out what other things I can do. Once your garden starts growing, get some confidence. You think, maybe I should plant some more stuff. Maybe I could put some almond trees in here or something, or like maybe I can do some potatoes, or I don't know. That's the Page of Pentacles. Being very curious and eager to try new things, because we're sort of getting the hang of it. Sort of got a knack for things like that now, yeah? So a good time, a good week for feeling that energy and exploring that a little bit. And that may very much be part of our Eight of Wands, which is, kind of finding more things to get involved, finding more things to sign up for. And this doesn't have to be money for you. This could be relationship stuff. It could be creative stuff. It could be chores around the house. It could be, like I said, creative projects. It could be arts and crafts. It could be other sort of hobbies, or, anything, really, literally anything. What we're trying to avoid, though, is the Nine of Swords: fear, anxiety, overthinking. Okay? Especially as you're looking out over your work and you're kind of starting to feel more confident, starting to feel like maybe this is going to work, maybe this is the week where things flip and it starts earning a profit. We don't want to start overthinking it. We don't want this shadow to kind of grow bigger. We want the sun to chase away the shadows. I feel like for a lot of you, this is what we need clarity about. There's something, for some of you, you've been losing sleep over it. The sun is here to illuminate. That Ace of Swords is here to bring clarity. So what you've been losing sleep over, you're going to get the answer to this week, okay? So this could be, restlessness. This could be overthinking. It could be anxiety. I feel like this is gone from your life. I feel like this is something that if you've been worried about your progress, Maybe you've really been fretting over the business. It's been in the red. This is the moment it flips to the black. This is that major shift. It's coming. Get ready. Something big that we've been losing sleep over. We've been worried about it. And maybe we just, I don't know, is this going to work? I put in all this time, effort, energy, money, and space. I don't know if it's like that moment of truth where it's like you print the test page and you're just like, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm nervous. It's going to print. It's going to print in full ink, color, cartridge, whatever, you know. And I think it's going to give you a really deep satisfaction and even a relief, you know, that something has worked. So it's important that we don't get too wrapped up in that anxiety about things this week, because I feel like the major shift is happening. So if you can share your worries with other people or even with the community here at Dove and Serpent Tarot, we have a very supportive community, all right? So share your burdens, share your worries with someone that you trust in order to lighten that burden. Yeah. And that the courage that you have right now is in facing the uncertainty and facing the fear and, well, paying attention, because you're going to see what you're worried about. There's no worries. It's going to work, okay? Now, you also have that strength card, and that strength card is courage. It is discipline. It's saying, don't freak out now. Just pay attention and watch, because it's going to work. That's a card of fortitude. It's a card of not letting your fears or emotions get the best of you. Yeah. That's a card of, you know, like I said, discipline. It's a card of also kind of being gentle and being compassionate with yourself. So, you know, if we are worried about progress, and maybe that Eight of Wands is saying, some of you don't feel like you're doing enough. And I'm thinking, what? You're doing way more than most people. But you might have a little bit of that feeling that's just like, I'm not doing enough. Progress isn't happening fast enough. I could have done more. I could have put in more effort. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think I did a good job. This is a card that's saying, be gentle. Gentleness, patience, a quiet courage. You're facing your challenges. You've put in all of your effort. You're doing things as sort of fast as you can, you know. You're meeting these fears or these worries and concerns with kindness and compassion. You're speaking gently to yourself, especially in the difficult moments, okay? Your strength right now is your ability to stay calm and to be kind. And again, the radical self-love and compassion and empathy, okay? You're learning how to trust yourself. You're building confidence. You're learning that when you put your heart and mind into something and you work at it, you put your energy into it, you burn some calories doing it, when you give it a good effort and your heart and your mind are on board like we have here, there's intense satisfaction that comes with that and a lot of progress. Okay? So you're choosing love, you're choosing compassion and gentleness, especially as you stand here and you look out over your work and you think, maybe this is the day, maybe this is the week where everything, these cards just won't sit still. This is the week where everything, everything flips to the green, I guess. I don't know, they call it the black, I guess, but everything flips to the green, rather than the red. Let's look at our mystery card, shall we now? Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, okay? Let's see if this is going to be the Empress. I think an Empress would be just mighty fine right now. I kind of feel like it might be a Ten of Pentacles, yeah? What do you think? Let me know. Put it in the comments down below. Enough with the rhyming, here we go. A Queen of Swords, okay? So we have the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords. So I feel like we have a Queen of Cups over here and a Queen of Swords over here. And both of them are in their respective elements. Your good idea, now you're reflecting on that idea and thinking, wow, my idea worked. Okay? And you're reflecting on also the emotions of it. You're processing things logically and you're processing things emotionally before moving on to the next task. So this is really about giving yourself plenty of time to finish a task and look at it, and say, did it work, and how do I feel about it? Then move on to the next one. Did it work? How do I feel about that? Okay? So the Queen of Swords is also looking at the past, but trying to understand, did it work, did it not work, and why? If it did work, let me write that down so I can do it again. If it didn't work, let me find out why it didn't work, and let me figure out how to do it better next time. Okay? This is also a card of truth and clarity, right? Independence, maybe also having boundaries. This is a good card for communicating clearly and directly. You're not going to mince your words this week. You're going to be very direct, and even with yourself. Okay? When if something doesn't work, the last thing you want is, oh, that's okay, we'll get them next time, Tiger. No, you want to say, okay, it didn't work. Facts. Why didn't it work? What did I do wrong? Did I hook the wire up to the wrong printer port or computer terminal thing? What did I do wrong? Okay, we don't want to delude ourselves or wrap ourselves in some illusion. We want clarity, so communicate with yourself clearly and directly. Don't soften your words. It's okay, we'll get them next time. Well, what do I need to do? We're speaking to ourselves with facts, okay, rather than feelings. So I feel like it's a good time to kind of keep the thoughts and feelings very clear to yourself, yeah? Kindness, gentleness. I feel like things are working. And I feel like this card is about you recognizing that, but also trying not to get too wrapped up in that win feeling either. This is a card that's kind of stoic. It's kind of objective. It's looking at the bigger picture and trying to see things for what they are. Yeah. So the Queen of Cups may be really feeling the win and feeling all that satisfaction and love. Yes. And then the Queen of Swords comes in and says, okay, that's great. Let's keep going. What did we learn from this? How can we apply it to the next task? Let's keep going, yeah? So I feel like you have the right balance between your heart and your mind this week. And to me, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a join button right below the video. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. We will clarify love and money. And we'll spin the yes/no coin. All right? Sagittarius, I thank you, I love you, and we are all in this together.